So what's going on, guys? I'm Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another video on the channel where today we have the first leaks, you could say, for not only this year's newest Call of Duty, COD 2023, but also next year's COD 2024, which for me is the most exciting since we know that is the one developed by Treyarch. And we have had a little bit of information lately to do with this year's Call of Duty, which we all thought up until recently we weren't even getting a new COD. It would just be year 2 of Modern Warfare 2 DLC, sort of. That was the original plan until recently. Activision decided to turn year 2 of Modern Warfare 2 into an actual game. But what we haven't had is really any info to do with COD 2024. All we knew was that it was pushed back from this year to next year, giving Treyarch an extra year of development time. But that's really about as much as we know. We know it's going to include zombies from their previous game, Black Ops Cold War. We were told in the final zombies map in that game, Forsaken, that what happens next takes place 5 years after that. So we can assume at least the zombies mode in that game will be taking place in the 1990s. Whether that means the game is a whole world, the campaign and multiplayer, we don't know. Potentially, but that's all the information we had. However, there has been a data breach at Activision which has revealed a ton of information to do with employee details, future Call of Duty DLC, release dates for COD 2023, and what the codename for Call of Duty 24 is going to be, Treyarch's next title. A lot of stuff that I don't want to talk about in this video because obviously stuff like employee details you don't want to share, but there are a few interesting things. So the article I want to refer to where you can get all of this information from is from Insider Gaming, where they've been able to verify the legitimacy of an alleged Activision data breach from Twitter user this guy. I won't show any of his stuff in this video, but although the user has posted several images on Twitter regarding the release dates of Modern Warfare 2's DLCs, the data breach also contains plans for Call of Duty 2023, which is codenamed Jupiter, and Call of Duty 2024, which is codenamed Cerberus. As far as the employee information goes that was obtained, it includes full names, emails, phone numbers, salaries, places of work, addresses. It actually happened back in December of last year, and he said the files were passed on to him recently by a single individual who was unable to sell contents of the breach. So we were given quite a bit of information to do with Modern Warfare 2's DLCs, a little bit of information to do with COD 2023, both of which I'll talk about in just a second, and so far we have the code name for Call of Duty 2024, which is going to be Cerberus. Now, just in case you aren't aware, every Call of Duty that we've gotten since pretty much the beginning of time is given a code name, and this doesn't just go for COD. Pretty much every game out there, in order to stop people finding out what it's going to be called before it's released, the developers will give it a code name, and that's what they'll call it until the title is officially revealed. So COD 2023's name is Jupiter, COD 2024's is Cerberus. I can't remember what Modern Warfare 2's code name was, but it's never really something to look into. Unfortunately, it doesn't really give us any hints as to what the game could be about or what it could include. When referring to Jupiter, you would think space. I've seen a lot of comments saying, well, maybe COD 2023 is another jetpack / boost jumping game like Black Ops 3 or Advanced Warfare, since we know that game is being developed by Sledgehammer. And then as far as COD 2024's codename Cerberus, that one's a little bit more difficult. Cerberus, of course, is a character we have seen in Treyarch's titles before, especially in zombies. We saw him in Black Ops 2's Mob of the Dead and Blood of the Dead as well in BO4. So we have seen Cerberus in Treyarch's Call of Duty games, but it isn't anything to look into. All I would say is, based off what we know, it's more than likely going to be a sequel to Black Ops Cold War. It will include the standard campaign, multiplayer and zombies, and potentially Outbreak as well if you want to talk about that, and might take place during the 90s, which is going to be interesting because all of the games that we've had from Treyarch either take place in the past or the future, and whilst the 90s is still the past, we've had World War II, the Cold War, which is more the 80s, and the future. What we haven't really seen from Treyarch is present day. I'd love to see that from them at some point, but also if we do get a game in the 90s, that'd be pretty cool as well because that's more closer to modern day than what the Cold War was. But who knows? As of right now, all we have to go on is the codename Cerberus. We shouldn't really be getting any big leaks about Treyarch's next title for another year at least. But in my opinion, it's something to look forward to because I have a funny feeling, we're going to get onto that right now, that this year's Call of Duty, COD 2023, isn't going to be good. And I say that for a few reasons. Going back to the leaks, in a separate article Insider Gaming wrote, within the leaked documents, the entire schedule for the year ahead was seemingly revealed, showing a season structure that looks something like this. So for Modern Warfare 2, and I'm going to be honest, I haven't played this game since release really. I don't personally enjoy the game, but there are 4 more seasons, Season 3, 4, 5 and 6. Season 3 is set to release on March 15th, Season 4, May 15th, Season 5 in July, and then Season 6 between September the 15th and November the 8th. And there's also mid-season updates, or as they're named, reloaded updates, planned for each season as well, which usually comes in between. But that isn't all the information that was released. We were also told there will be 7 core maps some of which will likely be rehashes of older maps that we were expecting, so remakes. There will be the Haunting of Sabbath event for Halloween, which is quite a way to go yet. One licensed operator every season, which is a collaboration or crossover. I'd be interested to see who we're going to be getting. More gunfights, spec ops missions, raids and tier 1 events, which will be starting from season 3. One small map arriving with season 4, which should be a similar experience to Shipment, and at least another 240 bundles, which equals about 70 per season. Just from that alone, that tells you where Activision's priorities are with Call of Duty now, and how it's gone over the past couple of years since Modern Warfare 2019, I would say. The structure that Call of Duty has taken, it seems like Activision and the developers definitely prioritize microtransactions over actual content in the game that we get for free, and that shows the fact that they're releasing another 240 bundles within Modern Warfare 2. Yet we look at the latest season's roadmap, and all the complaints I've seen is that there's no new content in it. I think there's no new 6v6 maps, or there might be one. Most of them are remakes. There's not really any new game modes. This is just going off memory. Again, they're all old ones being brought back. And going back further where this same structure was in place, Vanguard, Black Ops Cold War and Modern Warfare 2019, all games that had free DLC. That's great and all. No one's going to complain about having, maps for free, guns for free, stuff that we did used to have to pay for, but it's obvious that the substitute is that the free content that we are getting just isn't as good as it was when it used to be paid for. Now, whether there's any relation there or not, that's something to argue, and there have been a ton of people asking the question lately: would you rather pay for DLC if it meant the quality was higher, or would you rather just get it for free if it means the quality is lower and there's less of it? But it's right there in your face when they're releasing another 270 bundles, yet can't give us one new map per season, whereas we used to get 4 new maps a season, no remakes, and they were all of really good quality. It's difficult to think of an excuse because they've had the full 3 years development time with Modern Warfare 2. That's the normal amount of time to create a Call of Duty these days. We look at older games that got that development time, such as BO3, BO4, Modern Warfare 2019. Whether you hate or like those games, it's difficult to say they weren't finished and of a good quality. Maybe not BO4 with the launch issues, but especially when it came to the amount of content in that game, there was so much. And then we go even further back where Call of Duty used to have a 2-year development time with games such as BO1, BO2, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. They have been able to make good games off this same development time, but for some reason lately, just in my opinion, I don't think they've been able to, and you could make a correlation that something did change when DLC became free and they focused more on microtransactions, because they make a hell of a lot more money now through microtransactions than they did when people actually paid for maps. You might think Activision are getting less money now because the main content is free, but that isn't the case. They're actually earning more because people are spending more on microtransactions and bundles. So even though I don't play Modern Warfare 2, the same thing happened for Black Ops Cold War and Modern Warfare 2019 and Vanguard. It shows with the amount of bundles they're releasing and the amount of actual free DLC content they're releasing where the priorities lie. It's almost like because the DLC is free, they don't really care about it, they can release whatever, but when it comes to the paid stuff like the bundles, that's of higher quality because we're paying for it, that's where they're getting their money from. Whereas when DLC did used to be paid content, they did actually have to, put effort into it because they had paying customers. When something's free, well, you don't really have to please people because they're not exactly going to ask for a refund of something that's free. So there we go. That is all I have for you for today's video. As always, hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest content on the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.